I'm Evelyn, and I'm a geoholic.
Mark, you thought it was Vanilla Ice, didn't you? Gotta let this one play out a little bit. So good. All right, welcome back, Geoholics. Thanks for listening. We are at episode 194, if you can believe that. I think it's going to work out that 200 is going to be right after the first of the year, so that's going to be pretty exciting. We'll have to do something big for that. But again, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. So much going on at the moment. One thing I want to bring up is if you haven't heard about this platform, it's called Geo Coffee News. And I met Marco at InnerGeo, and he has just recently started this Geo Coffee News. It's geocoffee.news. And what it is, it's a web platform basically leveraging AI technology to actively search and summarize the latest news articles within the world of geospatial technology. So check it out. Follow him on social media as well, geocoffee.news. New media partner of ours, and I'm really looking forward to where this is going to go because he's got some really cool things going. Producer Sean is taking a Geoholics PTO day this week to attend to some personal matters, and in his stead, we have the one and only chief geek himself, Mark Taylor. Mark, how are you, my friend?
I am envious that you guys were in Germany. I didn't get any bratwurst.
But you did get it. You did get a gift. You just haven't received it yet.
Okay. So hopefully it hasn't gone bad then.
Yes. No, I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be just fine. What's new with you, man? Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. I was in Indiana on an army base for a week, having some military guys and a client blow my drones up in the sky, which was incredibly fun and nerve-wracking with 50 millimeter rounds going off and proximity.
Wow, that's crazy.
Grenades. Yeah. And then there was a contingent from Germany, a contingent from England, the Netherlands. I didn't even know Netherlands had an army. And they came out and saw the weaponry. So hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll be able to actually post the video.
That is freaking really cool. I don't know how you get to do these things, but you do the coolest things. So jealous. In addition to that, speaking of the coolest things, I saw you U2 in the Sphere in Vegas here recently.
I did last night. Yes.
Was it as amazing as it appears to have been?
The word astonishing is the best way to describe it.
Really?
Sensory overload. Wow. And the audio, because of the way they have the speakers pointed at the seats and the vibrations through the seats, I'm not kidding you. The dialogue, the vocals was pristine. It was like wearing headphones.
Wow. Unbelievable.
And then what blew us away, there was One Tree Hill. There were some lightning strikes that everybody in the audience jumped. And our clothing vibrated like this from the bass.
Oh, my God.
It was, yeah. And then to have Lady Gaga show up.
That no one saw that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm assuming she did a song with them?
2 songs, and then I hung out with her for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
It's cool. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. I'm jealous. I looked at tickets, and they're outrageously expensive. So I don't know that I can sell that one to the lovely Megan quite yet.
Yeah. The problem is I'm legitimately spoiled. The first reaction to my wife was, we're never going to Chase Field or Talking Stick ever again because this is done.
That's the thing, right? Once you experience something like that, everything else is going to fail by comparison, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was no bad seats in the house. It was just absolutely breathtaking in every aspect of it.
So cool. Awesome. Well, good for you. Couple things here real quick. You mentioned Chase Field. Got to talk about our Diamondbacks. They somehow made it to the World Series, as crazy as that is. Yeah, nobody saw that coming. It's like this town doesn't even know how to react right now because they're caught so off guard. But it's pretty exciting, and that starts tomorrow night. I think games 3, 4, and 5 are in Phoenix Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So another tough ticket to get for sure, but who knows? Fingers crossed. Hopefully I can luck into a couple. The other thing I want to mention is the Geoholics will be at the Roads and Streets Conference next week in Tucson, which is like the largest transportation conference in the state of Arizona. So that should be a good one for us as well. Super excited to make some
You think
new
I could
connections
join
there.
you on that one?
Feel free.
Yeah.
Feel free. Let's talk after the show.
Consider it done. Okay.
Right on. All right. With that, why don't you tell us about that opening number?
For the David Bowie fans out there, Under Pressure. As everybody pretty much knows who's been around for a while, or at least has some gray in their facial hair, David Bowie has been a leading figure in the music industry. He's considered one of the most influential musicians of the 20th century. In his lifetime, his record sales are estimated over 100 million records. That's incredible if you think about it.
Unbelievable.
That level of sales made him one of the world's best-selling music artists. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1996, and he's been dubbed the greatest rock star ever by Rolling Stone magazine. All of his music can be found on Spotify, Apple Music, and everywhere else imaginable.
And pre-show conversation, I understand that you actually got a chance to see him at some point.
Yeah, John, one of our guests, has also seen him. I saw him back at the London Hippodrome for just 2 sets. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Nightclub, yeah.
Unbelievable. Yep. Not someone, I mean, somebody who I'd love to see, but unfortunately that opportunity has passed, and rest in peace is how I'm going to leave that one. We are, of course, in the Mentoring Mondays studio this week, and I was just texting with DK today, and that guy, I mean, he's everywhere, and that's an understatement. He just hiked Mount Whitney the last couple days to visit the highest survey mark in the lower 48. Amazing.
Like he hasn't seen a brass cat before.
Not on top of Mount Whitney. It was like 14,000 feet.
Wow. That's
yeah,
crazy.
It's insane. Yeah. Hopefully you got a shot on it, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to ask him. But anyways, if you're not familiar with Mentoring Mondays, check out the website, mentoringmondays.com. It's an awesome platform for, beginning surveyors, seasoned surveyors, or anybody interested in surveying or the geospatial professions in general. Again, mentoringmondays.com, but it's actually mentoringmondays.xyz. Next up, the Airworks Random Trivia. And Chief Geek, you got something for us this evening.
So, keeping with the spirit of U2 and the Sphere, I actually got the privilege of flying around it when I was in Vegas. But I did a little bit of research because I was thinking, if you can actually see the eyeball staring back at you from the space shuttle, how much is the electric bill?
So, yeah.
This is a staggering number, and it's made more staggering when you understand they have a negotiated rate by Nevada Power that it's 5 cents a megawatt.
Okay.
And they spend $443,000 a month.
Oh my.
A month.
Is that true? Oh,
no, I just make this shit up. Yeah, seriously.
That's insane. Hey, it wouldn't be the first time.
No.
That's unbelievable.
Fact check. Yes, I'm not Donald Trump.
Fact check.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey,
but
remember, we don't talk.
Not to talk incessantly about the concert, there were something that the audience, just to go and see, is when you walk in, it looks like they're concrete, just giant concrete blocks, but it's actually the image. And then they turn on the lights. So they're called halo lights, little square, super bright lights, and they'll have like 10 in a row, 5 rows down, 10 across, 5 down, just pulsing to the music. But what's incredible about it is there are reflections on the back of it, so it looks like it's attached to scaffolding, and it disappears, but it's not. And then when they crank them up, you're all like completely blinded.
Wow.
And it's a bloody TV screen. So, yeah, you need sunglasses in there for some of it.
Oh,
Super
man.
cool.
Can't wait to go sometime. But that's an amazing number. Holy cow, over $400,000 a month in electricity. All right. Next up is the Advanced Genetics Survey's Weekly Words of Wisdom. And I am staying with the baseball theme for this segment. And this is short and sweet. The quote is, "It ain't over till it's over." And one of the best quotes of all time, of course, it comes from the Yogi Berra Book of Proverbs. That guy's got so many quotes, it's ridiculous. But man, oh man, if there wasn't a quote, or if there was ever a quote that relates to just about every aspect of life, "It ain't over till it's over" is one of them. Love that one. All right, let's get our guest in here to join in on the fun. Of course, our guest this week is presented by XYHT Magazine. We have John Florio from Juniper Systems with us. A little bit about John before we let him speak. He's born in San Jose and grew up in the Bay Area, currently resides in Utah, beautiful state. He received a degree in anthropology, of all things, focusing on Mesoamerican and Southwestern archaeology from the University of California.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Isn't that monkeys?
No, that's something completely different.
Oh.
Maybe where you're from, archaeology does pertain to monkeys, but not here. In his free time, he enjoys fishing, hiking, and he is a history nerd. He's a senior product manager at Juniper Systems, and he's passionate about learning and says learning is part of life's great adventure. John, welcome to the Geoholics. Thanks for being here.
Welcome.
Great, thank you. Glad to be here, Ken. Mark?
Yeah, we're excited to have you. I also want to mention real quick that Juniper Systems is a new friend of the program of the Geoholics, and we appreciate your support. And funny enough, I actually saw John at Energeo here a couple of weeks back. We bumped into each other there. Yep, got to meet each other, exchange pleasantries, all that good stuff. And talking before the show, John also had an amazing time at Energeo.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Let's get things rolling here with the Trimble ProPoint Icebreaker. This is short and sweet as well. John, I'm going to let you go first. What is one thing you cannot live without?
Coke Zero.
Oh, God, that was fast.
You're supposed to say Michelle.
No hesitation.
Sorry, Michelle. Coke Zero.
That's awesome. All right, Mark, I got to ask you, what's one thing you could not live without?
The love and affection of my wife.
Oh,
I'm so dead.
Sweet.
I know. You're all going to throw up, but it's true.
All right, now tell us what you really can't live without. Besides the obvious.
Still the love and affection of my wife.
Yeah. We're not going to get him to budge. So funny. Sean, I'm really excited about this one.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, Dimensional Geomatics is the latest friend of the program. Russell White and his team, with decades of experience in dimensional control, metrology, laser scanning, and drone operations. Dimensional Geomatics brings together a history of exceptional project execution.
They really do. From a single technician to multiple crews in different locations, they field highly trained, quality, and safety-focused personnel for their projects.
Keyword there is safety.
Absolutely.
And qualified personnel. Whether it's laser scanning, onshore or offshore, refinery or forensics, Dimensional Geomatics has the equipment, people, knowledge, and context to fully tailor a solution to meet your needs.
Yeah, with over 20 years experience and 24/7 global support, they are just a phone call away.
In addition, with accurate and up-to-date LiDAR from 1 square acre to 1,000 square miles, they can provide you with the deliverables you need.
No job is too big or too small. To find out more, go to dimensional-geomatics.com.
One thing I do want to talk to you about, John, before we get in kind of the meat of things here, one of your career highlights, and I want to know more about this, was developing the first proto-tablet device at Juniper Systems. How did that come about?
Oh, that was a fantastic project. At that time, we were in the world of Windows Mobile, Windows Embedded Handheld, Windows CE. And this was before the iPad came out, before there were any tablet-type devices out there. But what we were noticing is a lot of people were staring and squinting at that little screen. And we were thinking, there's got to be a better way to do this. Maybe we could make the screen a little bit larger. So we did some research and we found a screen that was 4 times the size of your typical, what we used to call back then, PDA screen. And we found a suitable touchscreen that would work with it on top of the display. And then what we did is we put together a focus group. We got people from several different markets. We got some land surveyors in. We got some people who were in cattle harvesting and breeding. We got some agricultural people in the building and some people who did work in the oil and gas industry. And then what we did is we said, okay, here is literally a clay model. We took some plasticine clay and we made a model of this thing. And we put where we thought there should be buttons and where there should be a battery or battery covers. And then we put it in people's hands and we said, okay, what would you do different? What do you like? What do you not like? And through that process, people started holding in their hands and looking at it and saying, maybe if you make the back a little bit flat, curvy so it fits my hand better, or maybe there should be a button up here where my thumb sits because it's sort of right where I'm holding the product. And that process of discovery, those customers it was something I'd never done before. I'd been in product management for a while, but I never had that opportunity to do that at that level of intensity. And it ended up turning into a really fun little product, and it really took off, and it kind of changed our whole company. So it was a blast.
That's pretty cool to be a part of something like that. That's like a groundbreaking moment, right?
Yeah, it was really fun because it was a direction change. It was something different that had not been done before. It was, kind of like that, was it Henry Ford statement? If you ask people what they want, they're going to want a faster horse. So what we did, we said, well, let's not make another horse. Let's turn it on its head and think about the problems that people are trying to solve. And we thought about, you've all been around surveyors holding on to a data collector in their hand, and they're in the sun and they're squinting at that little screen, and we're thinking, maybe there's a way to solve that problem.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, let's jump right into Juniper Systems. I am super curious to learn more, of course. So why don't you tell us everything great about Juniper Systems? Just kind of introduce the business and maybe what your mission is with this.
Okay, sure. So Juniper Systems. We're up here in our factory, our little cuckoo clock shop up in northern Utah, Logan, Utah. Our mission statement says that we are a manufacturer of rugged field data collection and data management systems for extreme environments. So what does that mean? It means we make handheld computing devices, tablets, and other products that are used in land surveying and lots of other industries. We don't sell or develop products directly for land surveying, but what we do is we produce computing products that are used by many different instrument manufacturers all over the world. If you're walking around Energeo, you probably noticed in a number of the different booths that different exhibitors had for different instrument manufacturers, you probably saw our products in one shape, form, or another. That's something that we do is we'd like to find out what people's problems are and come up with solutions to those and develop our products along those lines.
So you mentioned you don't just work with surveyors, you work with other entities as well. What are some examples of other entities that you work with outside of surveying?
Oh gosh, there's several different markets that we work in. It's really kind of fun. Land surveying, that's a big market for us. It has been for many years. We've been doing that for over 20 years. In fact, the company, we're, I think, 25, 26 years old now. We've been in this business for a while. We also do a lot of products for the utilities and public services industry. There's a number of industrial applications that we serve, oil and gas industry, and industrial food production. In natural resources and environmental sciences, we have people who use our products for wetlands delineation, logging, and forestry management. And then our roots come from agriculture. Originally, the company was called Harvest Master when it was first started. And interesting thing is we actually, at that time, we were producing what are called plot harvest data systems. And these are weighing systems that go on field combines that are used for measuring the weight and volume and salinity of seeds like corn, barley, wheat, that type of thing. That's where we started out, and it turned out we had produced a neat system for measuring, but we needed a computer, and a computer that would work in a rugged outdoor farm environment. And there wasn't one that really suited the job at the time, so we built one. And then we discovered, after a few iterations of that product, that there were other industries that had that need, what we call the dirty jobs world. And we started selling our product under the Juniper Systems brand, because at that time we were focusing mostly on natural resources and forestry. Well, the product grew, it started spreading into other markets, and Juniper Systems became the main brand. We still have the Harvest Master brand, which still does our agriculture products. And the reason we came from that origin is because we're located up here in northern Utah with Utah State University, the home of the Aggies.
There you go.
So products we make, not just computers, but we even make, we have a little mapping grade, scalable accuracy GPS receiver we build. We have sensors and different components we put onto our computers. We even make a snow grooming system for ski resorts.
Oh, wow.
Because we're in Utah, we got ski resorts, and
Sure.
hey, you know, it's really great to be able to go out and do demos on ski resorts. So
Yeah.
we made that.
That sounds cool, but I'm still not hearing anything about drones.
Drones. We make computers that you can use to operate drones.
Oh,
Boring.
there you go.
What else you got?
What else do
Seriously,
we have?
one of the biggest problems the drone industry has is the ability to have a good tablet that's stable, can handle the heat. You know, employees are cool, but they're not exactly responsible for their equipment and tend to do things they shouldn't, right? They need to be really rugged. And our iPads overheat, but they're better than the DJI product that comes out and it has its inherent problems. But everything you're talking about, you know, I want one.
Well, we're going to have to send you one of our new Mesa Pro tablets, which is a nice big tablet. It's got a really bright screen.
Yeah,
Battery's going to run all day. It's
Nice.
It's huge. It's awesome. You'll love it.
So I'm
Every
assuming
single
like
drone. Sorry, Ken. Every single drone system. That's why I showed you the ones in the beginning.
Yep.
Like tomorrow, the 2,000 acres. Here's a 10,000 milliamp micro battery, because the battery that's in it needs a constant charge. So now we attach this tablet to this with extra cables, and it's very tiring holding and watching the drone, and we don't have enough power. The screens heat up. We need to be receiving files by cell phone or Wi-Fi through the truck. We need computing power, preferably not an Android system, because some of the apps don't work on Android, but they work on iOS. So there's that homologation. But if you had a tablet that could fix all that, they would legitimately fly out the door.
iOS is a challenge, but I can get you a Windows 11 tablet with an i7 in it.
Perfect.
Cool.
So
I'll have to
that's
send you one to
Windows.
try out.
done.
Done.
So talk about the
No,
testing. of
that
the-
wasn't a shameless plug. I'm just inspired by your entrepreneurial, your visionary aspect, taking something that really had a limited need at the time and wasn't really adopted. Like I just got on the plane and every single kid's got an iPad 9. I'm like, there must be $1 million worth of iPads on this airplane, right? There's such a dramatic adoption. And then did you see that article by the American Child Psychology Association, where the average 18-month-old baby will be given an iPad and they'll swipe.
Crazy.
Just do that. They automatically know because they've seen their parents do that. That's what they do with an iPad. But give them a book and they just start gnawing on it, you know? They don't even know what a book is. So kudos to you. But yeah, the drone industry is desperate for an incredible all-day power tablet. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, yeah. And on that note, I would like to learn more about the testing procedures. And, you know, it sounds like these tablets are incredibly durable. Talk about the testing that you guys put them through.
Oh, gosh.
Throw them off the Empire State Building?
Not that high. You have to worry about ground strikes. We have a great video of an earlier product. We have mechanical engineers, and you have to keep them busy because when they get bored, they start doing things. They built a trebuchet because they wanted to see how far they could shoot one of our tablets before.
Oh
it
my
broke.
God.
That's awesome.
So the
105
exercise
feet.
wasn't necessarily about the ruggedness of the tablet. It was how cool the trebuchet could be.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we wrestle them away from that. We're able to get some engineering done. We have to do all kinds of certification-based testing, particularly if you have a cell modem in a product. There's all kinds of safety and electrical certifications you have to go through. And thankfully, Europe just passed a law which requires us to have USB-C on everything. So there's always changes happening in the industry. But from the testing standpoint, we start with what's the worst condition the user is going to be in, and we have to meet that. And then we think, okay, what's the worst condition the user is going to be in for at least 3 years? So we have to think of how long they're going to have that product and put it through that rough environment. We assume 3 years as a test environment, but in reality, most people use these products between 5 and 7 years. So we have to design for that. We do drop testing. We do hot and cold temperature testing. In fact, every single product we build goes through an environmental chamber before it goes out the door. It goes through 2 temperature cycles, from freezing to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And we have to do that twice because it's basically validating all the seals on the product. We do all kinds of electronic exposure to sparks and gaps and EM noise, bad circuitry noise. Imagine the additional power spikes that come from a charger in a vehicle. We also do all kinds of vibration testing. When you put all these little tiny pieces and components together in a small chassis and you want it to be rugged and durable, and then you think, okay, this is going to be riding around in a truck maybe, going from place to place, or it might be in a helicopter, or it might be on a boat. And you have high frequency and low frequency vibration to deal with. So you have to think about all those little pieces and parts staying where they're supposed to stay, preferably on the inside of the product. So it's quite fascinating to do that. And we have a lab that we literally have to be careful. It is a trade name, but our lab we call the Mythbuster Lab. And that's where we just throw things at the product that we haven't tried before. And one of the most interesting tests is human sweat. One of the most corrosive things on a product is human sweat mixed with sunscreen and bug repellent. That will just eat plastic off of a product. It's amazing.
Interesting. Who knew, right?
Who knew?
Who knew? So let's talk about what people want to know. I mean, what kind of separates you guys from the other people out there kind of doing the same thing? What makes Juniper Systems different?
Gosh. I think one of the things that makes us different is it kind of goes with the founder of the company. His name was Ron Campbell. He likes to call himself the black sheep of the family. And if you ever meet him, you'll get it. But he says we have a culture we call deep roots. And it's because the Campbell family, who's involved in the ownership, they all come from the agricultural world, from the farming lifestyle, farming communities. So we don't necessarily go with the latest trend or the latest new feature on a product, but we really try to dig deep into what customers are doing, really try to know those jobs really well, and come up with the best and most affordable and reliable solution for those jobs. I can't remember the name of the movie, but there was a movie where an advertiser was trying to use truth in advertising, and they were talking about the Volvo, and the ad was boxy but good. So our product isn't sexy. Our product has a certain stability and reliability in it. So it's solid. You get that solid sensation. And the other thing that's unique is we build everything right here. We do concept, design, manufacturing, assembly, testing, service, support, all right here in Logan, Utah, in the United States.
Wow.
Parts come from all over the world.
Sure.
We do all the design work right here. Also, we have we're strong on supporting the company culture. We work hard. We also play hard. We have a gym built right into our company structure here in the building, and we even have a racquetball court.
Oh, wow.
We took the old storage area and turned it into a racquetball court.
Nice.
So it's kind of fun. We have our 15 maxims, sort of our code of conduct that we try to live by. I'll just tell you two. The first one is We serve our customers and our fellow employees with trust, love, respect, and active support, and we expect the same in return. And the last one is we persevere. In other words, sometimes it's going to be hard,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
Yep. What do you got, Mark? I interrupted you.
No, it's just an agreement, especially on the perseverance. It goes on both sides because the act of doing everything that you first said takes a lot of effort. You know, it's all about maintaining that company culture so you're successful. So, yeah.
In the end, it's worth it, though.
Yeah. Michelle's not saying anything, by the way. It's most disappointing. She's nodding in agreement.
She's muted. She's an observer on this one. So, John, you mentioned the parts and stuff like that. Is there still challenges getting some of the parts you guys need to build these things, or is that past us?
That's a good question. I think that's basically past us now. We went through, right as COVID was hitting hard and heavy, pretty much everyone experienced all kinds of supply chain problems. And that was really because what had happened is over a period of several years, the electronics industry as a whole had gotten very lean and very, quote, efficient, basically squeezing every penny they can out of the supply chain. But that supply chain was very, very, a very tightly pulled string. So any stressor on that immediately broke the system. And it broke it globally. And then when you had situations like the entire country of China shutting down, or the entire country of Taiwan, where 94% of all processors come from, shutting down, all of a sudden, the entire global supply chain is choked off. Generally, we do a pretty good job of managing against that because we tend to carry more inventory than is probably sometimes considered wise, but we try to keep a cushion in there because a lot of our customers are in critical need markets and they have to always be able to be working. So we have to keep extra inventory to support them. But inevitably, it did hit both in two ways. One in the supply of components, and other when the supply chain got choked, the laws of economics come into play, and then the price of components started fluctuating dramatically. And on top of that, some of those components were counterfeit, coming from factories where they don't normally come from. So it was a challenge. But I'd say today that we're pretty much past that now, and we're running full speed. And generally, we're delivering products. Our average turn time is 1 to 5 days on orders, and large volume orders, those are scheduled out, depending upon what the customers want.
Wow.
Got it. What is the newest product? Is that the Mesa Pro?
Yes, the newest one is our Mesa Pro. It's our first foray into a full-size Windows tablet. Mm-hmm. We're on the third generation of our Mesa tablet, which is sort of a compact 7-inch Windows product. There's also an Android version. But the Mesa Pro, we kept having requests from people that said they need something a little bit larger, about 10.5 inches, much more battery life, and it needed to have some serious horsepower. So we put in anywhere from a 256 gig to 1 terabyte drive. You can get it with a low power Celeron, where it's used primarily as a display, or with an i5 or an i7 processor. Right now we go up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, and pretty soon we're probably going to bump that to 32. So it's a pretty hefty horsepower device, along with you have to have your Bluetooth, you have to have your Wi-Fi, you have to have your cell data modem built in.
Right.
And all of this is inside what we call an IP68 package, which means I can dunk it underwater. And it's perfectly fine. So it's a bit unique.
Hey, Kent, can I talk about Diamondback Land Surveying for a second?
Please do.
By far our favorite friend of the program, their surveying department offers land surveying applications for residential, commercial, and public works projects across the western U.S. Their respected mapping team provides commercial subdivision and plat mapping, easements, and legal document preparation.
DBLS is dedicated to building and maintaining an excellent reputation in the construction and development communities by constantly providing top-notch services for our clients. Trent Keenan and his team of professionals look forward to the opportunity to work with you. To find out more, simply go to diamondbacklandsurveying.com. And while we're on the topic, we might as well talk about Get Kids into Survey.
Yeah, I think we have to. Get Kids Into Survey began in 2017 by Elaine Ball with the creation of the first Get Kids Into Survey poster that reflected a fun resource for the survey community to share with their children in order to help them understand what their parents did at work. The response from the industry members was so overwhelmingly encouraging that just 2 years later, they have a whole range of survey posters in production, and we have distributed over 60,000 copies globally.
I have a feeling it's even more than that. As the Get Kids in the Survey community expands globally through its network of sponsors and brand ambassadors, the project now includes full programs of work for educators, scholarship opportunities, and a ton of resources that will inspire the next generation of surveyors. Education is our passport to the future, as they say. Find out more by simply going to getkidsintosurvey.com. Do you guys have like any strategic partners? Like, do you work with any specific manufacturers or hardware? You know what I mean? I mean, do you guys partner with other companies, like companies?
We do. We do on the supply side and on the delivery side. So we have products that we build that carry our brand, and we sell that through our dealer network. But then we also do a lot of OEM, custom brand product for other companies. Brands you're probably familiar with, like Carlson Software, Topcon, Sokia, Hexagon, and several others. And that's just the land surveying market. If you ever heard of, like Nestle Quick Chocolate or Universal Studios, or I could name some others where you'll see our product and you're like, what is that thing doing there? So we have a lot of these companies that we build product to their specifications for. They may want certain equipment inside it. But then on the other side, because we're manufacturing these computers, we have these strategic partnerships that we have to supply these parts, because we are a small company. We're not doing computers at the million units per month ratio. We're doing it at much smaller numbers because they're niche markets. But we're a Microsoft Gold partner because we actually have to write the operating system to work with all the components and the hardware. You don't just install the OS. You have to make it work with everything that's inside the equipment. We have a partnership with Intel, with Qualcomm, all the big three cell carriers here in the United States, which we have to do testing on our product through their test labs. Even Hemisphere, GNSS, we work with them as a partner. And then even on the accessory side, Seco and Ram Mount both, we work together with them, designing our products to fit together with their products.
So are you familiar with GTAC, the rugged laptop that...
Yes.
Yeah. So do you do stuff like that for the police force?
We have dabbled a little bit in the police, and we've done a little bit in military, but which would call the commercial off-the-shelf type applications for the military. Police, we're trying to do more there. A few years back, we had a strategic partnership with another company, and we were providing some components to that company because they kind of liked our display technology. But different markets like that.
Yeah, I wanted to get one of those for in the field for the guys so that they wouldn't break my souped-up Dell for the fourth time. But I think the latest upgrade in their email for like $4,500 was an i5 with 8 gigs of RAM. It's like, what are we back in the DOS days here?
We started in the DOS days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Go Windows NT.
All right.
There you go. Talk a little bit about the support after the sale and what that looks like.
Good question. That's kind of one of the areas we focus on as a business because we're a small niche player. I'm saying relative to, say, a company like Dell or even GTAC, which is a large conglomerate manufacturer. We tend to focus more on the high-touch service. So we have a technical support staff here and a service center right here so we can repair our product. The nice thing is the service folks also work with the manufacturing people, so there's a good feedback loop of information. If something's discovered in the field, it gets back to manufacturing very quickly. Along with our technical support team, which their job is, assisting the customer make sure the product works as intended. We also have on our software side what we call customer success managers, and their job is to help people go from okay, I like the product, I want to buy it, to, all right, how does it really work? Great, you showed me the demo, but show me how to really make it work for my job. And that's their responsibility. They do that. It's more than doing demos. It's actually working with the customer and taking their data and helping them to build it into a system that'll allow them to work in the field. Also, we just not too long ago restructured our entire dealer network, the people that we sell our products, who resell our products. We cut down the number of dealers and we focused in on a smaller number of high quality performing dealers. We wanted to get dealers that had multi-state coverage, but one of the key requirements, one of the key characteristics, was they had to have a robust and active customer support system to be part of the partnership. And we found that to be highly successful, and it's definitely improved the quality of customer experience in the field.
Yep. So we focused a lot on the tablets. You also have GNSS receivers. Talk a little bit about those. What is it? Geode? Is that what it's called?
Yes, it's called the Geode. And you probably notice we have kind of a theme with our products. We use geologic and geomorphology terms.
Yeah.
Because Utah's got that cool sort of, Wile E. Coyote roadrunner terrain in the southeast of the state. It just kind of gives you some cool names for products, like an Archer for arch, and Mesa for a flat plane, a hills, or a flat tablet. Mm-hmm. The Geode, the idea was, if you think of a geode, it's like a little small rock, which doesn't look like much, but then you crack it open and there's all this cool stuff on the inside. So that's what the Geode is. It's a simple mapping grade receiver that has scalable accuracy. So using different correction sources, you can go anywhere from, say a 2 foot accuracy, less than a meter, down to, with an L-band correction, get down to less than 10 centimeters. And now, starting, I think next week is when we're going to start shipping it, all the way down to RTK accuracy, down to a couple centimeters. So it's designed to be a scalable product. You effectively buy what you need. So you can turn on whatever feature you need.
Okay. Yeah. That's genius. I like that model.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So in order to get say survey grade accuracy, it just boils down to the corrections that you subscribe to, correct?
Yeah, we don't necessarily like to say survey grade because we don't want to tread into our key surveying partners' market space. Their product is going to be better. That's the reality, because they're focused on the tier 1 premier surveying jobs. But if someone's doing precision mapping and they need to meet those performance levels down to a couple centimeters, but they're not doing land management, they're not doing combined scale factor work or that type of thing, we're basically serving the rest of the market who needs that positioning.
Yep.
That's relying on the core data that surveyors provide to them.
Yeah. I like how you phrased it, mapping grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, for GIS applications, that type thing, it's ideal.
Yes.
Yeah. So you mentioned that the majority of your customers come from the survey world. What do you see happening on that side of things? I mean, technology is advancing at such a rapid pace. What do you see coming down the pipe as far as that technology goes?
Wow, there's so many things there. I think about some of the things I've seen at Intergeo. Actually, the past few Intergeos, probably the term that best fits is what's called sensor fusion, where you have different sensors being combined together in new ways to come up with new solutions. I don't know if you saw at the show a company called CHC Nav, where they had a RTK survey grade receiver, and they had mounted a camera in it. And with their software, with the camera and the GNSS position, now every pixel in the image has a coordinate value. So you can take offsets directly on the screen in your data collection solution. So that's a neat efficiency. I think the SLAM technology, the simultaneous localization and mapping, is going to eventually become the norm, because people want their data results faster and faster. They want the results now, and I think that's going to be necessary for people to deliver those results quickly. And I think just overall in the land surveying market, becoming more information technology savvy is going to be the secret to a surveyor's success.
Yep.
Right.
You know, if you think traditional, what's the traditional surveyor for us Americans? It's walking into the office and you got the guy in there and you got the draftsman over in the corner and you got this big wall with all these yellow notebooks, you know, of various color with various coffee stains on them.
Yeah.
That's their database. That's their GIS system. But the problem is that's proprietary. That's encoded and that's encapsulated in that business. And I think going forward, the surveying industry is going to have to move into the information technology world, and their currency and their relevancy will be on the ability to transact data rather than to retain data.
Yeah, and managing that data
and being able to
huge.
manage it efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I think it's important that surveyors get involved in that because, you know, like I said, one of my hobbies is history. Well, I don't know a surveyor who isn't a fantastic historian. And their ability to do research and to get down to the, you know, the point of origin, getting down to the truth and digging down and, you know, hopefully past a pincushion to where the original marks are.
Yep.
And that's beyond, and I'll say it, that's beyond what a GIS geek like me does. That's a level of intelligence that I think is important for the surveying industry to pass on to the rest of the geospatial world.
I agree 100%. Mark, you're shaking your head. You're on board with that, right?
Oh no, I'm in total agreement. I mean, my hero is E.H. Taylor. He was a surveyor, and he took up and started Buffalo Trace. So he's my hero. All surveyors are my heroes. Yes, God love America and bourbon.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I don't know whether or not to believe you on that one, but
No,
we'll go with it.
Well, you know, I'm on board with John. I think those yellow books are a thing of the past, but it's how they keep their security blanket for their stamp and justify their actions and how they did it. But getting that into technology and automation and without giving up how they did it, you know.
Yeah.
As a drone pilot, I find there are some firms here in town that will actually do a translation that if you remove them from their work on that job site, the other survey firm has to pay a fee to release that information and their key, as it were. So they take a northing and easting and elevation and turn it into a pygmy marmoset and a pineapple, and they'll give you the data, but you're paying a fee for it because it's their way. It's their private localized network that they've created for the job site.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
they keep it close to the hip, as they say. Right.
I understand the desire to do that, but I think people are going to learn because you see this in our industries.
Yeah.
The true value, the currency is information nowadays.
yes,
100%.
The more you can transact that, like any currency, you stuff a dollar bill in your pocket, it's worth nothing. You take that dollar bill out and you do, well, it's worth nothing today anyways, a $10 bill, and you go do a transaction. Now it has value because it can provide value for a service or a resource.
Yep.
exactly.
Yep. Yeah. What about AI, artificial intelligence? What role is that playing in what you guys do?
That's interesting. Our designers are using it to test ideas. So we're seeing this become integrated in the development world. For example, say you're going to design a case to put a GPS receiver in a housing or a housing for a tablet. Well, how much material do you need to make that housing? How thick or how thin can it be? How strong would it be? There's some traditional methodologies that are used out there and some calculation tables that mechanical engineers will use. Same kind of problem on the electrical side. But now you can use AI to say, okay, give me all the options depending upon these different parameters of what direction I can take it. And artificial intelligence, generally not having as much bias until it has learned bias from its use, will come up with different solutions. Some that are completely wacky, some that don't make any sense at all, but some of them that make you think in new ways.
Sure.
But the ability to do it very fast, to iterate it much faster than the human can, and then present those options to the engineer to then look at and make decisions. I think that's where we're seeing the benefit.
Yeah. I saw something the other day where there's like ChatGPT. Of course, there's a new version. I think it's a subscription based service actually,
Yes.
but
In fact, we use it here on the programming side because
okay.
we use it to test different ideas.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's what made me think about it. What you were saying, and it's to the point now where you can like upload a PDF of something and ask questions that pertain to the PDF, and it will generate responses for you. Like for example, I saw Aaron Mikolenko, who's been a guest on here a number of times and a guest co-host as well, and the guy's on the cutting edge. And he posted something on LinkedIn, I believe it was, where he uploaded a PDF of a survey plat to this version of ChatGPT and said, write me a legal description for parcel 5. And sure enough, it wrote a legal description. It wasn't perfect, it was probably 75% of the way there, but still, in a matter of seconds, the foundation of the legal description was generated. It's pretty freaking amazing what's going on.
Yeah, I think people who are people are always afraid of new technology, but then there's enough entrepreneurs out there who look at it and say, maybe I could use this. I mean, I'm taking a Python programming for GIS class right now at the university, and we're counseled before the beginning of the class not to use AI to do your homework, but it's perfectly okay to use ChatGPT to experiment with problems. So when you submit a question to it, since ChatGPT particularly is a language learning tool, that's its primary job. It does a really good job of describing the problem or the solution in an easy to understand way. That's where I found the value in it, being able to learn in different ways.
Yeah, I agree.
Still have to do your homework though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I say, it gets you 75% of the way there and provides food for thought, which is pretty cool. Yeah. What else? What's going on? What are you excited about, 1 year, 5 years down the road for Juniper Systems?
Oh gosh. Is this where we get into the forward-looking statements disclaimer?
Yeah.
Well,
Pretty
luckily
much.
we're a private company, so I can just make stuff up and we'll be fine. So obviously we made our first iteration of a larger tablet. I think you're going to see iterations along that platform of newer, faster, lighter, smaller, thinner, more svelte designs. Because the first thing we do is build it stout, and then we start trimming it down so it looks a little bit lighter, meets some more needs, things like that. I think we're going to see more different types of sensors flow into our products. Also, we're getting more inquiries from partners and from even our OEM partners. They don't just want the component. They don't just want the box. They want us to go beyond pushing the box. They want us to say, okay, take it farther. Give us closer to the solution that the users want. So I see us working more with those end users and getting closer to the solution that they're trying to use. And then those partners take it to the next level of how they integrate it into their system. So I think you're going to see more of that type of stuff happening. And we're trying to develop more niche market solutions. We call that, it's kind of like the term, I guess, you use in development is dog fooding. You take your own product and you try to use it to solve problems and you discover new things. For example, when we build a new tablet or handheld, we give one to each of the engineers on the project and we make them carry that thing around all day long. And then when they come back and say, we say, why aren't you carrying your tablet with you? Say, oh, it's too heavy. And we say, you learned something. Or it doesn't fit right in my hand. Like, well, think about that. Yeah. Because you're simply relaying to us what our customers are saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love that approach. Before we let you get out of here, 2 things. First of all, where can our listeners find out more?
Well, you can always start at www.junipersys.com, our website. And of course, we're on all the different social media platforms. We do all kinds of fun stuff out there. And we have a full library of videos on YouTube and some other public sites that are fun.
Yeah. Yep.
The nice thing, though, is we're still a small company. Psychologically, mentally, culturally. Even though there's a couple hundred people working here, if you need something, you just call us up. There's someone here that'll pick up the phone. You can talk to a real human. We will never have an answering system. We will never have a chat bot that takes your call. We feel it's worth the additional expenditure to make sure there's a human there that gets the contact and talks to you on the phone so you can start working together.
Yeah.
Well, we have our own chat bot, Mark Taylor. Mark, anything else you want to add to the conversation before we let John get out of here?
No, I think it's fascinating. I appreciate what you've done in that story from the beginning, and going back to the days of clay and just molding something. I think that's fascinating and speaks volumes. And I really like the fact that anybody that gets your product can get someone at the end of the phone. It's so important, you know. So,
Are you excited to give the Mesa Pro a test drive?
I'll give it a test drive if I'm so lucky as to get one.
There you go.
I think we could scare one up. Got a factory right back there out my back window.
Should we go
Just
Android
grab
or
one.
Windows?
The pros are all Windows right now.
Okay. Yeah, let's give it a shot. That'd be great.
Okay.
Just go grab one, John. Nobody's going to notice it missing.
Oh, they'll know.
Yeah.
That's the thing about being an ISO 9001 quality management system company. They know where everything is.
Yeah.
There's cameras everywhere, right?
There are.
Absolutely.
That's great. All right. One last thing we ask all our guests. Do you have a mantra that you live by?
Oh, gosh, a mantra I live by. You know, that's a tough one. I don't have a good one. But I heard a great one this morning. We have our sales meeting every Thursday, sales marketing meeting, and we have a little warm-up exercise. People take turns presenting something, useful. And there's one that's kind of become popular out there again among the cool kids. I think it's maybe Michelle can help me out with it. Who's going to carry the boats?
Who's going to carry the boats?
Goes
All
back
right.
to the Navy SEAls, and they're given assignments to carry things around. And if someone drops out, then the rest of the team still has to carry the boat. So
I like it.
It's that dig deep. Who's going to carry the boat?
I like it. That's good. That's good. All right. Anything else before we let you go that we haven't talked about?
Oh, I didn't mention we also have an office in Bromsgrove in the UK, which is just outside of Birmingham. That's also a sales, service, and support center. And that deals with our business in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And we do have a very strong and growing social media presence. So if anyone wants to get involved with what we're doing or learn what's going on, feel free to jump on in. And we're always open to new ideas, and we'd like to keep our eyes and ears open for people who can test and try things. So, Mark, we're going to have to send you a product to try out.
There you go.
Well, thank you. That wasn't the intent, but I know it'll be put to good use. Thank you.
Oh, we just love doing that. It's fun.
Yeah, Mark's your guy. He'll run it through its paces for sure, and provide you with honest feedback. No question.
That's the important part.
There you go.
All right. Well, Mark, thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Good to see you again.
Good to be there in person. Nice to see you too, mate.
Appreciate your input as always. And Michelle on mute there. Thank you for setting this up. And of course, John, thank you for taking the time out to be a part of the Geoholics.
Thank you. Oh, and live long and prosper.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I can't do it, so you get the idea.
Live long and prosper. I love it. All right. Adding value and making friends. Check that box. If anyone would like to be a guest on a future show, or if you have any ideas for topics that you'd like to hear us talk about or discuss, shoot us an email at info@thegeoholics.com. David Bowie and Queen, Under Pressure, available everywhere. Until next time, everyone, remember, who's going to carry the boats? I like that. Learning is an adventure. And most importantly, be safe and healthy.